More than 400 years ago, in the late summer of 1587, 116 men, women, and children landed here on this very spot, an unexplored new world. Unexplored by Europeans, that is, although Native Americans had been roaming this land for more than 12,000 years. They walked into this forest, disappeared, faded into the pages of history, never to be heard from again.
The colonists made their way to this small island known to the natives as Roanoke, meaning seashell. Roanoke Island was then, and is now, protected from the sea by a low, narrow stretch of barrier islands. They were sent by Sir Walter Raleigh, with the blessings of Queen Elizabeth I, to establish the first English-speaking colony in this new land. It had been described to them as the goodliest land under the cope of heaven. Here they would begin their new life in a new land, rich with abundant wildlife and the promise of a bright future. But here also they would disappear. This small group of brave souls has become known as the Lost Colony of Roanoke. And here, over 350 years later, on the spot where they landed, the Garden Club of North Carolina has created the Elizabethan Gardens as a living tribute to the memory of the lost colonists.
From its humble beginning in 1951, these gardens have provided a quiet, contemplative setting for one to gather their thoughts or simply reflect on the unique history of this place. Hello, I'm Pat Etheridge, your host for this garden tour.
In summer, crepe myrtles, hydrangeas, annuals, perennials, and tender tropical plants fill the garden with color. The wonderful fragrance of magnolias and the dancing movements of butterflies fill the air. As temperatures cool, autumn brings the changing colors. And chrysanthemums. Beautyberries and Sasanqua camellias. Mild winters highlight an outstanding collection of Japanese camellias, joined by hollyberries, Lenten rose, pansies, and snowdrops. Winter sets the stage for a rebirth of the garden in spring. By March, buds expand, leaves begin to unfurl, and a wide assortment of emerging blossoms signals that the most colorful time in the garden has arrived. Daffodils, tulips, hyacinths, and a large collection of azaleas fill the gardens with brushstrokes of color that would please any painter's eye. Sir Evelyn Wrench, founder of the English-speaking Union, proposed the idea for the Elizabethan Gardens in 1950. Ruth Coltrane Cannon and Inglis Fletcher encouraged the Garden Club of North Carolina to adopt the idea as a statewide project. Once the idea was approved in 1951, Garden Club members from across the state worked tirelessly to bring the concept to fruition. E.W. Renicky of Fayetteville, North Carolina, helped arrange for the Honorable John J. Whitney, a former ambassador to Great Britain, and Mrs. Whitney to donate to the gardens a collection of antique statuary from their Thomasville, Georgia estate, Greenwood. This gift of statuary propelled the project forward. Once the land site was selected, the noted landscape architectural firm of Innocenti and Webble was commissioned to design the gardens in the Renaissance tradition of Elizabethan England. E.W. Renicky contractors were hired to construct the gardens with the assistance of Albert Skipper Bell, who had previously designed and built the Waterside Theater for the Lost Colony production. Between 1952 and 1955, the garden began to take shape in accordance with the axial design created by Innocenti and Webble. The sunken garden was the first built and features a statue of Aphrodite, the Grecian goddess of love and beauty, within the central fountain donated from the Whitney collection. Work progressed and included the construction of the Mount, the Overlook Terrace, and the Watergate Walk. During this time, Paul Green, author of the Lost Colony outdoor drama, donated a beautiful statue of Virginia Dare, sculpted as she may have looked had she been given the chance to grow to maturity. The noted American sculptor, Maria Louise Lander, created the piece in Italy in 1859. It was placed here, beneath the spreading branches of a live oak tree, here on the land where she was born, in honor of the first English child born in what is now America. In time, other features were added to the garden in accordance with the original design, including the lion coussant bird bath. And the picturesque curved bench placed in the quiet shade of the great live oak. As the garden's construction progressed, the front entrance gates were added in 1957. Mr. Renicky saved from destruction these artistically designed massive wrought iron gates that once adorned the French embassy in Washington, D.C. All of these pieces were embellished with a collection of flowering camellias, presented to the gardens by the North Carolina Camellia Society and planted in 1959. Blooms from this collection would go on to win numerous awards at camellia shows across the region. Instrumental in the garden's history was a very dedicated, knowledgeable gentleman by the name of Louis Midget, who became the first superintendent in 1959, just in time for the formal opening and dedication of the gardens in 1960. In the years that followed, many accomplishments led to continual improvements. An impressive bronze plaque has been placed at the entrance to honor the first 4 chairmen, who demonstrated they had the wisdom and foresight to guide the development of the gardens from concept to completion. By 1966, the new octagonal gatehouse, designed by Rowland, Simpson, and Ferguson of Kinston, North Carolina, was constructed. Based on the design of an Elizabethan orangerie, the structure was furnished with period furniture and paintings. The gatehouse serves as the garden's gift shop, filled with mementos of your visit. Here you can select a plant, propagated and grown at the Elizabethan Gardens, to add to your own landscape. The building was complemented with a formal parterre garden and a seasonal perennial border. About this time, the royal coat of arms was hung over the doorway of the gatehouse. And a new marble pool and fountain were added to accent the adjacent Shakespearean herb garden. The fountain was given as a tribute to Mildred Howard, who served as chairman and was a longtime supporter of the gardens. Marie Odom, who served as chairman of the gardens for 23 years, oversaw a number of improvements during her tenure. On the 25th anniversary of the garden, a new rose garden was added. Designed by the British-born landscape architect Lewis Clark, the garden features the Queen Elizabeth rose. This rose was given by Her Majesty the Queen and presented to the gardens by the British Ambassador to the United States, the Honorable Ramsbotham. As time passed, the gardens continued to grow and evolve. The Maple Walk was added to create a terminus on the north end of the sunken garden and was later transformed into Hornbeam Alley. The secluded woodland garden was added and features a wide variety of native plants, including cardinal flowers, ferns, and other shade-loving wildflowers. This little garden also features the Pan and Gnome with seat statues. The thatched gazebo at the eastern waterside of the gardens was crafted using period building techniques and thatch from England. The view across Roanoke Sound provides the visitor with the same seascape that appeared to the stranded colonists some 400 years ago as they watched and waited for ships that never came. Today, the garden is more than a half-century old, and more than 70,000 visitors from far and wide come to the Elizabethan Gardens each year. Guests frequently are moved by the serenity and the peace they find in the garden. Many make an annual pilgrimage to the gardens to pay tribute and enjoy the tranquility of the place. The gardens are a great place for learning, and many visitors enjoy the guided tours offered throughout the day. Others enjoy theatrical performances or educational lectures conducted frequently each year. The gardens provide a magical setting for those seeking a special place to share their vows. The Elizabethan Gardens are truly a special place. A place where people of all ages can witness the beauty of nature, a place where wonder fills the mind and fragrance fills the senses.
The Garden Club of North Carolina invites you to come and enjoy the peacefulness and serenity of this place.
Walk down these shaded, tranquil paths and experience this coastal paradise. Stand before the statue of Virginia Dare and reflect on those who came before. Feel the history of those who planted the first seed. For once you have seen the splendor and felt the harmony, you will always want to return to the garden by the sea, the Elizabethan Gardens of North Carolina.